This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Continuing coverage of Campaign 2000, the battle for the White House. From CBS News Election Headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good evening. There were more surprise turns today in this slow-speed battle, and the oddest turn yet came on a Florida highway. Here's the latest. Vice President Gore asked the U.S. Supreme Court to prevent Florida's Republican-controlled legislature from naming its own slate of electors to ensure the presidency for George Bush. The legislature took another step down that road today. On this road this day, all 460,000-plus Palm Beach County ballots were trucked to Tallahassee by order of a Florida Circuit Court. Vice President Gore is asking the state Supreme Court for a quick count of about 10,000 of those ballots, those that did not register any vote for president. In Texas, the Bush push to be viewed as the inevitable president included seeing and being seen with retired General Colin Powell, said to be his top choice for Secretary of State. CBS coverage begins with Byron Pitts in Tallahassee with the latest from the Florida courts. Byron?
Well, Dan, tonight the road to the White House took another detour, and there are signs the Gore team is getting desperate. With an escort worthy of a world leader, a county worker in a rental truck backed his way into history. Some 462,000 ballots delivered to the Leon County Courthouse. Pieces of paper now guarded like gold, locked away in a vault until a judge decides if they'll ever be counted by hand.
We understand they're the most important document in this country at this time.
Documents driven 400 miles, followed by a caravan of camera crews and lawyers during the 8-hour ride from Palm Beach County. It was a scene eerily reminiscent of another slow-speed chase on a highway in California. That was popcorn theater. This trip could determine the presidency. Meantime, attorneys for Al Gore appealed to the state Supreme Court, pleading for the hand recounting to begin immediately.
Plaintiff's Exhibit 1.
Fearful their full case may never reach a courtroom, Gore's lead lawyer David Boies made what sounded like an opening argument at a press conference.
There simply is no plausible justification, no plausible explanation for why voters in counties that just happen to use punch card ballots would be 350% more likely to decide not to vote for president.
Democrats argue voting machines didn't pick up thousands of presidential votes that they believe lean heavily towards Gore. Lawyers for George W. Bush say all votes were recounted twice. The election is over.
There has to be an end point, or you could go on well beyond January, recounting and recounting and recounting.
Today, a lawyer for the Gore campaign told me we must have those ballots counted and quickly. If not, it's over. Dan?
Byron Pitts. Florida's Republican-dominated legislature is moving ahead in its own way to ensure that it will be all over for Gore. CBS's Jim Axelrod reports that the Florida legislature is planning a special session to guarantee the state's decisive 25 electoral votes go to Bush no matter what.
'Tis the season in Tallahassee, but peace and goodwill to all now have company.
What the hell is going on here? Is this America?
Bare-knuckle politics.
Let's do not change the rules in the middle of the game.
It's all but certain. The Florida legislature will have a special session to name its own slate of electors, almost guaranteed to be for Bush. For Republicans like Johnny Byrd, waiting for the courts is a waste of time.
We've had an election, we've had a count, a recount. It's over and we need to move on.
The big picture is this is outrageous.
Battle lines are now drawn. Democrats like Ken Gottlieb say Republicans fear a full hand count and want insurance if that's what the courts order.
Well, it seems like they're trying to make it where if Bush wins, and if Bush loses, Bush wins.
Actually, the Bush who could end up the loser in all this is Florida Governor Jeb Bush.
You know, in politics, perception is reality a lot of times, and this could just be a disaster for him.
Political scientist Lance DeHaven Smith notes Democratic voters outnumber Republicans in Florida by 400,000. Any backlash, he says, won't be felt by legislators in their safe home districts, but by candidates running statewide, like Jeb Bush in 2002.
The way voters work, they don't ask, what did you do for me lately? They ask, what did you do to me lately? And they get angry and they come out and vote. That's what brings them out. They don't come out to help somebody. They come out to get rid of them.
Republicans are now investigating how to pass a measure into law without requiring Jeb Bush's signature in order to avoid an appearance of conflict. But don't bet on it, as more than one Republican is now saying they're not going out on this limb alone. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Tallahassee.
These moves by the Florida legislature produced a sudden and unexpected move by the Gore legal team at the United States Supreme Court, which is already taking up an extraordinary election appeal case tomorrow. CBS's John Roberts has the facts on this. John?
Dan, the legal, political, and public relations battle entered new territory today. The Gore campaign raised an alarm over Republican actions in the Florida legislature, saying state lawmakers are threatening to provoke a constitutional crisis.
And I just want to appeal to Governor Jeb Bush and the members of the Florida legislature to reconsider this action.
Running mate Joseph Lieberman today laid the blame for any looming crisis squarely at the feet of Jeb Bush after the Florida governor said he would back a move by the state legislature to intervene and guarantee Florida's 25 electoral votes to his brother.
To threaten this kind of end run, if you will, I can't think of a more elegant term for it at the moment, around that process is not right.
In a surprise move, Gore's attorneys threw the matter to the nation's highest court, declaring in papers filed today that Florida lawmakers are prohibited by the Constitution from choosing their own slate of electors.
The Gore lawyers probably know that it's unlikely for the Supreme Court to cut off the state legislature, but they are clearly laying the foundation for a possible challenge.
The immediate challenge for Gore is a favorable ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court on those disputed ballots. His legal team will argue tomorrow that demanding a hand count is not like changing the rules after the game is played, more like a photo finish camera to more accurately determine who won this most extraordinary race.
The Supreme Court is critical to Gore's chances to keep this fight going. Congressional Democratic sources have told CBS News that if the vice president loses at the Supreme Court, it's over. But if he wins and Florida's legislature moves to appoint its own slate of electors, Democrats are willing to ignite a legal and political firestorm. Dan?
John Roberts. There is another potentially important lawsuit in the courts. If successful, this one alone could put Florida into the Gore column. A Democratic lawyer contends all 15,000 absentee ballots from Seminole County, which went 2-1 for Bush, should be disallowed because Republican workers were allowed to correct applications for the ballots so they wouldn't be rejected. The Republicans say they didn't break any laws. If Bush and company are worried about this lawsuit, they didn't show it today. What they did show was Bush meeting with a prospect for his administration. CBS's Bill Whitaker reports from Austin.
Like reinforcements, Dick Cheney and General Colin Powell rode up to George Bush's Texas refuge for a well-orchestrated photo op. Elder big guns adding credibility to his presidential claims.
So thanks for having me, and congratulations, Governor, on your success in your election.
They came to talk transition. Bush seems to want everyone to know he wants Powell for Secretary of State. But with the election in limbo, so is Powell's future.
I have not yet been asked, and if that question should be posed to me, I think I should answer it directly to the governor at that time before answering it to anyone else.
The pilgrimage to this remote ranch is part of the strategy to keep Bush above the fray, away from ugly legal wranglings, leaving the dirty work to his Florida big gun, James Baker, who's calling the shots for the Bush-Cheney team there.
We're both being kept abreast of the options and opportunities.
It's a hands-off approach put in place right after Election Day.
What options are you considering?
I'll refer you to our folks in Florida.
That even has some GOP insiders asking who's in charge. Today, the governor's spokesman had to respond.
Sure. I mean, he makes the decision. That's right.
And right now, he's decided to move forward with his transition.
When the counting finally stops, we want to be prepared to lead this nation. That's what we were elected to do.
Despite such bold talk, Bush doesn't plan to announce any cabinet names until or unless this election is resolved in his favor. Dan?
Bill Whitaker. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Anthony Mason on what's behind the Wall Street tech wreck. And then later, new evidence and new suspects in the attack on the USS Cole.
I prefer using natural ingredients. That's why I take Beano. Beano helps prevent gas from problem foods with a natural food enzyme. It's not a drug. So if you prefer a more natural approach, prevent gas with Beano.
Our eyes have their own moisturizers, natural tears. So we took essential ingredients found in natural tears, added more moisturizers than any leading eye drop, and put them in Visine Tears. Visine Tears replenishes our eyes' natural moisture, bringing soothing relief to dry, scratchy eyes. Visine Tears, it gets the dry out. And now there's Visine for contacts. It re-wets lenses and refreshes your eyes.
Did you know your Aleve works on headaches too? When my wife got bad headaches, the pain relievers she tried, they'd work for a while, then quit. So she'd have to take more. I had some Aleve for my arthritis pain, so she tried it. Now she's got her life back, and I've got her back.
Just 2 Aleve can stop pain all day. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Thanks, Aleve, for making such a difference.
And now cold sufferers can get the all-day strength of Aleve and new Aleve Cold and Sinus.
You choose to be healthy. You choose to be successful. You choose to give back. You choose to be yourself. The choices you want, the voice you need to make the most out of life. Today's AARP.
It affects millions of people each year, and yet many don't even know they have it. It's called high blood pressure. And while we've learned a lot about high blood pressure, medical research continues so we might someday eliminate this silent killer. If you have high blood pressure or you think you might have high blood pressure, we'd like to talk with you. Qualified participants will receive a study-related medical evaluation and study medicine. To learn more, call toll-free 1-877-BP for life.
If it isn't purple, it isn't Prilosec. Isn't it Prilosec time for you? Ask your doctor about the purple pill they call Prilosec.
The CBS Market Watch shows stock prices took a beating on this second busiest trading day ever. The Dow went down 214 points. The NASDAQ lost 109. A reason to call in CBS's Anthony Mason for an explanation. Anthony?
Dan, this will take your breath away. $3.3 trillion. That's how much has been wiped off of stock value since March. Half of that just since Election Day.
The tech-driven NASDAQ has led the nosedive. From its March high of 5,048, the NASDAQ has plummeted nearly 50%. Gloomy doesn't describe this market's mood.
I think gloomy is a nice way to put it. I think there's rampant depression in the marketplace and a high level of angst.
The angst that ignited today's sell-off, Gateway Computers, which reported weak holiday sales. That sent prices in all computer stocks tumbling.
Gateway has problems at the retail level, and they paid the price.
Gateway's stock was brutally punished, plunging by more than a third. At $77 last December, it closed today at $19.
Technology stocks are down 70, 80, 90%, and there's been a lot of pain.
The slowing economy has been behind much of that suffering. Consumer spending was flat in October. The first time in more than 2 years, consumption failed to grow. And if consumer spending stalls, so do corporate profits. So stocks head south in a hurry. The lesson in all the pain?
It's just not that easy. If it was that easy, we'd all be lying on a beach somewhere, drinking pina coladas.
Ken Scheinberg of SG Cowen says no one's drinking now.
Well, I don't think anybody can afford them anymore.
Maybe the market could use a cocktail after this. What would ease Wall Street's mind? Analysts say an interest rate cut from the Fed would help a lot. And oh yes, one more thing. A new president wouldn't hurt either. Dan?
Anthony Mason, thanks. In the Middle East today, for the first time, an Israeli leader publicly offered to recognize an independent Palestinian state in exchange for peace. But Prime Minister Barak also called for shelving debate over Jerusalem for at least 3 years. And that drew a flat no from Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. The United States and Russia are joining forces at the United Nations seeking to clamp an arms embargo on Afghanistan. That country's Taliban leaders protect renegade Saudi millionaire Osama bin Laden, suspected of ordering the attack on the USS Cole. CBS's Jim Stewart has word of quiet progress in the Cole investigation.
Sources tell CBS News federal investigators have identified approximately 6 additional suspects in the suicide bombing of the USS Cole who were not rounded up by Yemeni police and remain free. The suspects are believed to be hiding in Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, and for the moment are beyond the reach of U.S. lawmen. Yemeni officials earlier arrested 6 other men for the attack and expect to bring charges against 2 of them soon. The charges will include not only bombing the Cole but threatening Yemeni state security. If found guilty, Yemeni officials said the suspects could be sentenced to death, which in that country is carried out by firing squad in public. As for the 2 men who died carrying out the suicide boat attack, sources say investigators now believe both had earlier taken part in the 1998 bombing of 2 American embassies in East Africa. Meanwhile, the State Department announced it has reached an agreement with Yemen on how to carry out the remainder of the investigation.
It lays out ways of proceeding, access to information, and evidence and potential witnesses that meet the needs of both sides.
Under the agreement, FBI agents will be allowed to submit questions they would like to ask the suspects, but not take part in the actual questioning itself. The FBI was essentially kicked out of Yemen shortly after the bombing attack, and Yemeni authorities have maintained rigid control over the investigation ever since. In the meantime, the Navy now estimates the cost to repair the Cole has jumped from $150 million to $240 million. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
Ahead on the CBS Evening News, the political buck stops here. Will justice reign supreme?
The CBS Evening News and tonight's Eye on America segment are sponsored by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Want to start a family?
Right now?
I just got supplemental insurance.
What's that?
Aflac. Well, if we get sick, our health insurance won't cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What's it called?
Aflac! I don't know.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
It's important to take care of yourself. It's also important to talk to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Prempro. I'm glad I did.
Every time I tried to quit smoking, I chewed up more pencils. So my doctor gave me a prescription that, for the first time, makes me feel in control of my cravings. Ask your doctor.
Break the habit. The prescription for help is at hand.
That Snowbot is a great way to tell customers Staples has technology gifts.
Greetings, handhelds make terrific gifts. So do digital cameras.
Nice price. Excuse me, could you tell me about the scanner fax copier?
No.
But I want to get it for my brother.
Get him a cell phone.
No, he really wants one of these.
He can't have her. I love her.
What?
No. Weeping.
It's okay. We found just someone else.
Oh.
For technology gifts they really want, it's Staples.
If you have high blood pressure, you know all these cold medicines warn you not to take them. So take their advice. Don't take them. Take decongestant-free Coricidin HBP. Powerful relief that won't raise your blood pressure.
The other day, I'm driving down Broadway when that pastrami on rye catches up with me. Heartburn big time. My passenger says, "Here, take a Zantac 75. I say, "What are you, a doctor?" And he says, "Yeah."
The medicine in Zantac 75 is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. It relieves even your toughest heartburn, controlling acid for up to 12 hours.
A real gentleman, that doctor.
Zantac 75 for tough heartburn. Doctors know.
Freezing steak? Only new Ziploc double guard freezer bags have an inner layer that clings to seal out air that causes freezer burn. Regular freezer bags don't. Put an end to freezer burn with a new Ziploc double guard freezer bag.
CBS Hard News investigation.
When you needed to know about the hidden danger in your car. When you needed to know about nursing home abuse. When you needed to know about a drug that can kill. We were there for
a matter of life and death.
Hard-hitting investigations from the best team in the business. Eye on America, only on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
When the justices of the U.S. Supreme Court file in to hear arguments from lawyers for George Bush and Al Gore tomorrow, they'll be entering uncharted territory. Never has a case directly affecting the outcome of a presidential election come before this court. It stands at the heart of the world's most political city. CBS's Eric Ingberg reports tonight, Eye on America.
From the outside, the Supreme Court looks too pure for politics. The justices get there by appointment, serve for life, shun TV. The proceedings are formal, quaint.
Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. All persons having business before the Honorable, the Supreme Court of the United
Don't be fooled. Behind those robes are 9 politicians. 7 owe their jobs to Republican presidents. But history shows justices are not always predictable partisans. Nixon's appointees deserted him on the White House tapes case. Part of FDR's New Deal was thrown out by a conservative Supreme Court, but after he threatened to pack the court with friendly votes, a Republican justice switched sides, changing the course of history. The current Chief Justice, William Rehnquist, might be thought to lean toward letting the Florida High Court settle the recount. He's strong for letting state courts decide. But he's widely thought to be putting off retirement until a Republican president can name his successor. Team Gore probably assumes the 2 Clinton-named justices, Stephen Breyer and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are with them. And John Paul Stevens, named by a Republican, may be the most liberal member of the court. 2 justices were named by George W.'s father, but one of them, David Souter, regularly angers Republicans with moderate votes. The other, Clarence Thomas, had to endure an ultra-partisan confirmation fight.
I will not provide the rope for my own lynching.
And he surely remembers that one of the 48 votes against him was cast by a senator from Tennessee.
Mr. Gore.
Team Bush will also look to the 3 Reagan-appointed conservative justices, all of whom may be thinking they would make great chief justices if a Republican held the White House. Antonin Scalia, brilliant, combative.
You have no basis for making any charge against me.
Anthony Kennedy, often a swing vote. And Sandra Day O'Connor.
Every president since George Washington.
The only justice who's actually held elective office as a Republican state senator. This has been a badly divided court, often splitting 5-4. But on a case this historic, it will try hard for a decision that's unanimous or nearly so. For Eye on America, this is Eric Ingberg at the Supreme Court.
CBS's Bob Schieffer will be inside the Supreme Court tomorrow. No cameras are allowed, but the court will release an audio recording. CBS News will have special coverage during the day tomorrow, and a wrap-up, of course, on the CBS Evening News. Up next now, here on CBS, exercising their right to forget about the election.
Enterprise? You rented our car from Enterprise?
Yeah.
Why Enterprise?
Because they pick us up. Free.
A free pickup? Wow. They ought to be #1.
They are #1.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Take it easy.
The Eagles. Selected Works, 1972 to 1999. For the first time, a 4-CD box set featuring 53 songs from America's greatest rock and roll band, the Eagles. Selected Works includes the classic hits, Take It Easy, Witchy Woman, Lion Eyes, Tequila Sunrise, Peaceful Easy Feeling, Heartache Tonight, Take It to the Limit, Life in the Fast Lane, and many more. Pick up the phone and order the Eagles Selected Works 4-CD box set now. Total price $59.95 or 2 easy payments of $29.98. Selected Works is the definitive Eagles collection. 4 CDs featuring the classic Eagles tracks you know and love. Plus a 44-page color booklet including rare photos. Disc 1, The Early Years. Disc 2, The Ballads. Disc 3, The Fast Lane. And Disc 4, The Millennium Concert, recorded live at the historic New Year's Eve Millennium Show. Disc 4 also includes the solo hits, Dirty Laundry, All She Wants to Do Is Dance, and Funk 49, performed live by the Eagles. Selected Works showcases over 25 years of classic Eagles tracks, such as Best of My Love, Desperado, Hotel California, and many more hits. Pick up the phone and dial the number on your screen to order this brand new collection from America's greatest rock band. To order the Eagles Selected Works, a 4-CD set, Call the number on your screen or send $59.95 for CD plus shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call now. Rush delivery available. Total price $59.95 or 2 easy payments of $29.98. The Eagles. Selected Works.
It beat the S&P 500 for 1 year, for 3 years, and over the life of the fund. The Strong Growth and Income Fund. Call 1-888-2-STRONG. You're one call away from a strong portfolio.
Female inmates have been removed from the Camden County Jail. One source says to protect them from the deputies. We'll have the story coming up at 6.
Here's what's coming up tomorrow in the battle for the White House. The U.S. Supreme Court considers the Bush claim that it was illegal to delay the final Florida vote tally. And keep on trucking, 650,000 more ballots, these from Miami-Dade, get trucked to Tallahassee in connection with Vice President Gore's Florida election challenge. This will go down as the year Election Day turned into Groundhog Day. Like the movie Day After Day, it's the same day, waiting to find out who will be the next president. After 23 days of this, CBS's Sandra Hughes reports some in the audience are ready to walk out.
Vacationers come here to get away from it all, but even in laid-back California, where working out is considered work, there's no escaping election exhaustion. Would you say you have election fatigue?
Exceptional election fatigue.
I keep praying that they're gonna say it's over.
I'm over it.
So what are you doing to avoid hearing about it?
Well, you're sitting on my sports page. As soon as you get up, I'll go back to the sports page.
A CBS News New York Times poll finds Americans are losing their patience. Guy O'Brien is a Chicago businessman.
Bush is ahead. He won Florida. Gore needs to concede defeat, and we need to get on with the business of the country.
Danny Harris is an orthopedic surgeon. Do you think it was a fair and accurate count?
Oh, most definitely not. I want it to be over, but I want it to be fair. And right now, I don't think that's the case.
Like the doctor and the businessman, the nation is evenly divided on whether it's time for someone to concede. The answer depends on the party. Marcia Goldberg is a surfing Democrat.
George W. Bush is getting his transition going. Is he doing that too soon?
Oh, well, I think he's acting like it's his like it's God-given right, like he's a king or something.
Jim Lair is a skating Republican.
Someone needs to just be the bigger man and say, you know what, I gave it a good shot.
But his daughter Chelsea offers her own spin on why Al Gore should win.
Because George W. Bush's father got to be president, and because no one in his family got a chance to be president. So I think it's his turn.
Possibly the only path not yet taken by the Gore legal team. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And that's part of our world tonight. Harold Dow has a preview of tonight's 48 Hours.
Users say it's happiness in a pill, but the government says ecstasy is dangerous.
There's feelings of euphoria, total happiness with the world.
For Sherry, it proved deadly.
It just takes one pill.
48 Hours investigates ecstasy tonight.
48 Hours, 8 o'clock, 7 Central. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you soon on 48 Hours.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
The history-making Supreme Court case tomorrow. Experience CBS News.
Randy, but I'm so sorry. They were at me till I could say it, but I really do mean it. I didn't mean to hurt him.
Tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, we go one-on-one with the man suspected of killing a police officer.
Plus, look what some Bellevue residents woke up to this morning. Coming up, what started this horrible fire?
I was really scared. A lot of people got hurt really bad with
And a tragic bus accident leaves a 5-year-old little boy dead. The news is right here, right now.
From the News Channel 5 Network. This is News Channel 5 at 6. Your news and information leader.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Clark.
And I'm Vicki Yates.
A horrible school bus wreck this morning in Herndon, Kentucky. The bus flipped several times, killing a 5-year-old boy and injuring nearly 40 other students. News Channel 5's Ben Hall spent the day at the Christian County School. He describes the terrible accident.